Oh, gosh.
Caesar. Oh, I was doing, no, I did Crisis of the 3rd Century, Diocletian and Constantine, where Constantine will reunite the Roman Empire briefly. He will make Christianity, he will recognize the official religion of Christianity. What's that? Edict of Milan. Edict of Milan. And, you know, try as they might, whatever Diocletian and Constantine do, they cannot prevent the collapse and the fall of Rome. You have barbarian invasions that are coming in waves using the great Roman roads and technology against them. You've got a depleted Senate that was, good morning, a depleted Senate that was killed by direct attacks from weaker psychotic emperors like Caligula and Nero. You've got massive inflation. Rome got used to a very lush, luxurious lifestyle. And when all those goods stopped coming in from overseas, nobody knew what to do. Jobs that the plebeians fought for back in the Republic, they could no longer have access to. They just, you know, no one wanted to do them because if there was a monetary shortage, the governor had to pay for it out of his own pocket. And then you have just, you know, social disorder. You have, you know, rebellions breaking up, multi-ethnic groups who want independence. And so as this begins to happen, many of the wealthy people in ancient Rome will flee eastward towards the monetary center of the Byzantine Empire. I liken this 2,000 years later to as Chairman Mao comes to power, a lot of the business leaders and rich people in China move to Taiwan or Hong Kong where they could keep up their capitalist free enterprise business practices. So a lot of the money people move to Byzantium, and it will be the direct heir of the Roman Empire. It was Rome, just the capital had shifted from Rome over to what is now Constantinople. The few remaining wealthy people, what's going on, Dante? Few remaining wealthy people that were left receded into the wilderness of Western Europe, where they bought into the castle mentality. We will be self-sufficient on our little farms. And if we stay small and nobody goes in and nobody comes out, the barbarians may not find us. So we'll stay small, we'll stay local. And it's at this point that Western Europe, for the most part, will be cut off for the next 600 years from any cultural diffusion whatsoever. It's not until the Crusades and Pope Urban II that Western Europe awakens from its slumber. But this time is very key. You know, we call it the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, whatever. But this is the time where I use the stew analogy, where Western Europe sat on a simmer or in a crock pot. And it blended its Greco-Roman classical learning with that of the Germans, and it slowly formed its own separate and unique, distinct culture. As Islam will begin to burst from the heartlands, they will be fighting the Byzantine Empire, and those two colliding gives Western Europe the time to sort itself out from the mess that it becomes. That's pretty good on Rome, right? 476 is the official fall. So when the last king is deposed, Odovassar, and he's kicked out by the barbarians. So Rome's greatness, their technology, their brilliance, their engineering is also a cause of their decline because it worked so good when people found it, they just said, oh, let's follow the yellow brick road. It could go to the Emerald City or it could go to Rome. And then up in Europe, when the barbarians see, you know, a beautiful squared city with running water and plumbing, and they're like, dude, this looks a lot better than living in like a hollow tree in the Black Forest somewhere. So I'm going to take this unit over and live here. So anyway, questions on that? What's next? Valeri.
I have two questions. So who is the Pope that was asked by the Byzantine Empire?
One of the most powerful popes of all time, Pope Urban II. Pope Urban II.
I wrote the wrong thing on the essay.
Yeah.
Who is Pope John III, or was there a Pope John III? Because I made that up, and it's.
I think you kind of made that one. I'm sure there was one, but I don't really know what he did. But that's okay. Yeah. All right. Urban II. He's big time. At least Ian Stonewall Ryan or somebody. I don't know.
Is Urban the one who started the Crusades?
Yes, he wanted to try to, and when he was asked by Byzantine Emperor Comnenus to help relieve the Muslim attack on Constantinople, he was excited. For him, this was a chance to repair the union between the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox Church. And so, plus, it could get all these Christian knights, German, French, Spanish were supposed to be Christian knights, but they were fighting each other. Who gets caught in the crossfire? The peasants. Let's get all these guys the heck out of Europe. Let's go unleash them on a foreign enemy. Oh my God, the foreign enemy, what do? Remember what I told you? They look different. They speak a different language. And oh my God, they worship a religion differently than we do. What's the only thing we can do? We got to kill them. It's really our only option. Yeah, let's go kill them. So he sends the Crusaders out of Europe hoping to repair the church. Now, his being asked for help, Pope Urban's being asked for help, legitimized the office of the Pope. The Eastern Emperor, remember, was the head of the Eastern Orthodox Church. This validated the Pope's rule, but the knights behaved so badly. They were such uncultured, unsophisticated, barbarians that people in the East were like, oh my God, what's the lesser of two evils here? They behaved so badly, maybe we should let the Muslims in. But the First Crusade is the only one that works, and the Muslims are driven from Constantinople, and for a brief time, Jerusalem is liberated. Whew, that may be more than you were asking for. Ian?
So after the Roman Empire falls, the Holy Roman Empire goes to France and then Germany.
Yeah, it's not the Holy Roman Empire until 800 with Charlemagne. Yeah. This part. Right in there.
And when does that finally fall?
That falls in 843 with the Treaty of Verdun with Charlemagne's grandsons, who, remember, there was the Frankish custom. I'll get you, Ryan. There was the Frankish custom where you have to equally divide your land between your heirs. And Charlemagne's son, Louis, said, no, I'm the Holy Roman Emperor. I give most of it to my son Lothar. You other three will get smaller plots of land like Switzerland. And that was not enough. So the brothers fight each other. And in 843, they divide up and fracture Europe. Give me 1 second, Valerie. Next was Ryan.
When does Trajan go on his campaign, and what was the river that he crossed?
Danube River. He will go, oh God, mind blank. 105 to 106 is when he will, 105, 106, he goes over the Danube River and enlarges the balloon, the Roman Empire, too big. And Valerie.
Can you explain the difference between the Eastern Church and the Western Church?
All right. Eastern Church or Western Church, Roman Catholic, two things. Number one, the Pope is the head. He is seen as the successor of the Apostle Peter.
It's intertwined in the West, right?
And it's intertwined in the West. There's a separation of church and state in the West. It's intertwined in the East. So the Pope is in charge. And in the West, it's called the Nicene Creed when there's the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are one entity. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, it's called the Arian Creed, where the Father and Son are one being, and the Holy Spirit is a separate entity.
Okay, so it's like there's the Holy Roman Emperor in the East, and then there's like a separate church.
No, the head of the church in the East is the Byzantine Emperor, and he will appoint.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's intertwined. Church and state are one in the East. In the West, they are separated. All right. Valerie.
Can you like go over it in detail? You were saying like around 700 was the Holy Roman Empire again. So was that like Rome fell and then the Byzantines are fighting
the Muslims.
So then there's like nothing happening for a couple hundred years, and then a Holy.
Well, over here in the West, slowly but surely, different barbarian tribes will try to come to power. Shortly after the fall is the kingdom of the Franks, a barbarian tribe in this area who will have a dynasty called the Merovingian dynasty. It's all your Dan Brown stuff. And they will slowly consolidate power. And they will try and to unify or bring together as many tribes in Central Europe as they can. It will be a very long and slow process. How does one guy rule and impose his will on the many, in this vast wilderness where people are trying to stay out of sight and out of mind with successive waves of barbarians invading. So eventually, they will start to use feudalism. Here, I don't have any money to pay you, so I will give you land in which to provide soldiers to protect and police my land for me.
What year did it officially start? Like 700?
In feudalism? Yeah, that's when like Charles Martel, Charles the Hammer, will start to use feudalism, in like the 720s, like officially. And the problem is that whole proximity to authority idea. People are loyal when I'm standing in, Evan's front yard that he's governing for me. But as I do that, Ann Connor's doing like, great state of Texas, remember the Alamo. And then as I come over to here, all right, Darsh is singing the Imperial March, dun, 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 and he's, thunking in the back of the head. When I get over here, as soon as that problem starts, Roberto's on his phone playing Angry Birds or texting his girlfriend at Carrboro because our girls aren't good enough or whatever. I don't know. She better be cute, that's all I'm saying. So, all right. So, it's hard because the king can't be everywhere. So eventually, that will end when Charlemagne comes to power. He's one of these larger-than-life Jedi personalities because, dude, Big Julie's coming Friday. I'm so excited. Did she get the call?
I told her she was obliged. She had to.
All right.
She bought it, so.
You are a good salesman, Sam. That's what I'm telling you. All right. So, your guy's sub Friday is Sam's mom. Yeah, so sweetest lady of all time, so be nice. Yeah, all right. Maybe if you're lucky, she'll bring you the stuff she makes me for Christmas. I call it Christmas crack because you can't, once you take a bite, you've got to eat the whole bowl. Like you just can't stop. Yeah, it's Sam's mom. Yeah. Sisters, one's a teacher, and I don't know what Aries doing. One's at McDougal, and one's Aries a dentist. All right. Yes, sir.
Charlemagne is Charles Martel's grandson.
Grandson, yes. And so this guy named Pepin the Short, like he's inconsequential. Yeah. Charlemagne will come to power a little before 800. He's one of these larger-than-life personalities who reigns for a very long time. While he cannot, he's not super literate, he's one of those Jedi leaders that understands, like a great chess master, what I do now is going to impact us 10, 20 years down the road. So he begins to, kind of like Coach Cap, he begins to dominate his entire region. And being as big as he is and as powerful as he is, guys see Charlemagne coming, they're like, dude, I'm not going up against him. He's like, yeah, giant, and like just grabs people and like,
And especially because at that time everyone.
Yeah, everyone's, they're like it's like grabbing a munchkin from Munchkin Land and picking them up. So anyway, he will consolidate the region, and on Christmas Day in 800, he will build a city of Aachen, just inside the German border. And it will be kind of a new Romanesque capital. And he will hire Alcuin of York, reportedly one of the smartest men in Europe, to come and build a school to train government ministers, to train governors, to be able to read and write and classical learning. But on Christmas Day, the Pope will crown him the Holy Roman Emperor, the descendant of the old Roman emperors in Rome 400 years later. But try as he might, even the great Charlemagne is not able to bend everyone to his will. He tries to place counts, and what he does, earlier on, they took very poor people and elevated them to a wealthy status, but they didn't know how to handle it. Remember, I told you it's like you watch on TV how the lottery ruined my life. Well, the only way that could happen is if you're like stupid. All right, if you're out there in YouTube land and that happened to you, well, you should have called me. All right, so yeah, all right. Okay, go ahead, and then go ahead. I'll stop there.
So, the Franks were Merovingian. Was Charlemagne a Carolingian?
Yes, the Franks will wind up, the Merovingians are ineffective, and the power goes to an office called Mayor of the Palace. This was like the chief of staff who went around to all the noble fiefdoms to find, what do you need, what can the king do for you? And since he had more interaction with the nobles, it fell to one family, the Carolingians, and they took over the kingdom.
So Charlemagne was still like the same area that the Franks were. It was just a different family.
Just a different family, exactly. Stonewall and then Ian.
What year did he get crowned? It was on Christmas
800, Christmas Day, 800. Ian.
So this is a little bit later in history, but are we ever going to go over like War of the Roses and stuff, or are we just going to get back to what?
The 100 Years' War? The War of the Roses? 30 Years' War? No. Not for Thursday. All right, yeah. All right, yeah.
Oh, God.
All right. Two families fought. It was England and France over succession and territory. The French are getting the crap beat out of them. Joan of Arc has a vision. She leads the French troops miraculously. They begin to rally, but to get rid of her, they burn her at the stake. French win. England and France did not like each other until World War I. Bam! There. How about that? They still don't like each other, but they like each other more than they like the Germans. Well, nobody likes the French. They don't even like themselves. Look at Alex. All right? Alex, when you look in the mirror, do you get angry sometimes? Yeah, all right? Like, I don't even know. Yeah. Zoot the law! What the? Oh, wait a minute. I'm American. Okay, I'm better now. It's Alex. It's on YouTube? My boy Alex. All right. Yeah, all right. So, next question. I'm just kidding. Alex's parents, by the way. I'm just kidding. Yes, ma'am.
I'm still trying to understand how there was like Charlemagne was the king.
Correct.
And then there was all these little like feudal states.
States supposed to be working for him.
At some point, doesn't like the royal, like the actual king, doesn't he fall at some point, and then it just is all? It becomes
as a result of his grandsons signing the Treaty of Verdun, Europe will fracture. Shortly thereafter that, England and France, starting with William the Conqueror in 1066, England becomes like the first nation state in Europe. After that, France comes along. Germany will remain disunited. 360 princes. The big joke or saying is there was a prince for every day of the year in Germany until Bismarck. You know.
So the Treaty of Verdun is when like there's no more king and it's all just feudal. Right.
Feudal.
Okay.
All right. Larry.
When was Otto the Great? Because I remember, wasn't he the one that like went against the Pope who was trying to like mix the
two? That was around 900, and that doesn't last very long, and you know.
So the only thing about him is that he just kind of fights the church in Western Europe.
Fights the church in Western Europe, and he was trying to subjugate his princes. When he begins to battle the Pope, he forgets about his guys at home. Apparently, Darsh really wants to show you something. So anyway, I will go to Ian and then to Stonewall.
We were arguing about when Wang Mang was.
Wang Mang. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody eat Wang Mang during the Han Dynasty. When? Right around 200, 220 AD as we Ginsu him and throw him into General Tso's chicken.
Darsh's book just said 9 to 23, like right after like the turning.
The turning?
But does it matter? Does it really matter though? Because it's just like it just as long as like we know like he kind of marks the fall.
He kind of marks the fall. It lasts a little longer after him, but the poor guy, every calamity imaginable happens to him, and so we got to eat him. We got to eat him. Yeah. Stonewall Ian. Yeah. What's what? Yeah. Remember I said everybody have fun tonight.
It was deal, Joe. I don't know. But what happened during the Gupta Dynasty?
What happened during the Gupta Dynasty? All right. The Gupta Dynasty, figure that right along with the Roman Empire.
This was around like 300 BC.
Yep. And the hallmark of the Gupta Dynasty, there will be a lot of scientific and technological achievement in India. The concept of the decimal point, the concept of the zero, the concept of 10, and the numeral writing system known as the Arabic writing system that will be transferred to the West. And I think Ashoka was of the Maurya Empire. So think of the Guptas synonymous with Rome, great, richly diverse empire, innovation, technological advancement. Yeah, right along Rome, Han Dynasty, Guptas.
Ashoka was an emperor during then?
I think he was
I think that's right.
yeah, and he put out the pillars, the 4 pillars, promising excellent and good government. Within these 4 pillars, there will be excellent, there will be good government, safety, ability to travel, built trade routes that connected to the Silk Road by building wells and planting fruit trees, making it easier for people to travel in and around India. Ian,
Thanks.
no problem.
Back to auto stuff.
Yes.
So, sorry guys. Wasn't there another king who was already mentioned? It was like Frederick or something?
Yeah, that is later on in the end of the High Middle Ages. Virtually the same thing happens when it's Frederick Barbarossa and Otto and Philip and England gets involved, Prince John. That's when Pope Innocent III excommunicates everybody 4 and 5 times. And that's over territorial expansion and acquisition and power of church and state. And, our guest left. Who was that? Anybody know who that was, by the way?
She's in Rajan's class.
Oh, she didn't even say good morning and hi, I'm Jesse. I mean, hey, Jesse. I mean,
She's quiet.
yeah, where's Ravi and the rest of the family? I mean, what's going on? So anyway, yeah. So, all right.
Pope Innocent is the one that fights Otto.
Yes. Otto Welf, way back in the 12 and 1300s. There's 2 different Ottos, one in 900 and one in the 12 and 1300s.
So who fights Otto the Great in the 900s then? Does it matter?
It does not matter.
Okay.
I guarantee there will not be a question on that.
Also,
All right, yeah. All right, then I got to go to Alex and to Ian. Yes.
well, I did one of the mall tests last night, and they kept one of the questions, or at least 2, mentioned core v labor. What's that?
What?
It was brought up in the shortcuts. Here, I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up.
Questions asked about what, okay, here. I don't know what. I did this at 1 a.m.
All right, Anson, hit me with your question while he looks that up.
So, what is the good dividing line for East and Western? Because this is a question.
What is the dividing line for Eastern and Western Europe?
It's like a change over time for nationalism, so I'm kind of wondering, and it gives you Eastern Europe, so I'm wondering if you include.
So Greece, Germany, and Greece over. If you follow this line from Berlin and over. So Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania. The dividing line is Greece and the city of Berlin.
So this question is, it's a change over time of the evolution of nationalism.
Yes.
And one of them is Eastern Europe, so could you include like Prussian nationalism?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I did the practice test you gave us yesterday.
Yep.
And some of the things about like art are really confusing to me.
Give me
Just
one.
a picture of like,
Yeah.
one of them was like the African like engraving. You have to explain like what's happening.
Were you able to see it clearly? Find it for me, Ryan. Yeah, okay, yeah. On the test, it'll be a lot more clear. Yeah.
No, that's not it.
All right. Ian, what was your question?
Turtle shell. But wasn't it Urban III? He didn't really do much, right? He was just sort of a person.
Popes you want to know, Gregory, the Gregorian Reforms, Innocent III, and Urban II. Those are the three guys. And John Paul, modern day. All right, let me see.
I think it was just that you could.
Oh, you can't see the thing, yeah, all right.
Captions say like African, like
Yeah, yeah, so Museum of Africa, which one of these is in Africa? There it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'll get you the answers to that.
Shoko was in the
Oh, that's what I thought. Shoka was a mayor. He was not a Gupta. Yeah.
Gupta like copied.
Built, yeah, right on top of him.
Gupta was the emperor in the Mauryan, but then they, like the next emperor was Chandra Gupta, but with two different.
With two different names. Yeah. I'm like, can you not think? So like John Smith? And what is this? Yeah.
So, economic life in Andean societies between 600 BCE and 600 CE was characterized by all the following except, and one of them was corvée labor for corvée.
I have never heard of that, I have to tell you. I have
It's in
no
the
idea.
shortcuts, like they kept bringing it up over and over, I just didn't really pay attention to what it was, so
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be on the test.
I have never, so I got to look that